Oh my gosh, motherfucker. Oh my gosh, I didn't even know I was on the wire. So sorry. And welcome guys, just give me a brief minute. Having a couple of issues. Did not mean to say that. Whoops. Alright, that's out. We're in the middle of waiting for one drivers. Distant wait. Hey, bro. And welcome to week number 8 of the MEA GT Championship Series. I'm SSR Mayhem bringing you tonight's action here at Watkins Glen. Tonight features about a field of 18 drivers, possibly 20 drivers, so we can see some racing action here tonight. If you don't already know, FTR Surrey currently the points leader with 3 wins on the season already. UMSGG Racing back in action again tonight after he recovers from last week's horrific race at Hockenheim. So look forward to see those two guys as those two are top 2 in the point standings. PPS Proud back with us this week after being absent for quite some time. So glad to have him back in action once again this week as well. And we got SSR Woody back in action. Did not qualify, but is able to make the race tonight when we'll start from the rear of the field. LCM Zombie not going to make it here tonight, having some issues at home, so he will not be here as he was the number 2 qualifier in tonight's race. Right now we are waiting on the driver from SSR, Red Raider, who's currently having some troubles trying to get in to the lobby. So once we get confirmation on that, we're going to be going racing as all the drivers are ready to go. Here's your starting line for tonight's race. FTR Surrey starting on the pole. Second is HRD, turn on the third. Sitting on the third row is LCM Buku. UMSGG Racing, now known as Calamity. So the gamer tag will change. SSR Bob in the 5th position. 6th is Nicole. PPS Proud back in action. The 7th position. 8th will be SSR Sloth Reflex. 9th will be Godly Drift. 10th will be DJ Smokin', Purple Haze starting in the 11th position. PPS Lucky starting at 12th. 13th is SSR Monster. 14th is Pro Jure. 15th is LZM Kobe Pennant. 16th is FNG number 96. Lucas Smees. 17th, 18th will be SSR Woody. And if Red Raider makes it in, he will be the 19th driver. Then there is your starting of the field. Once again, this is a series that has no mandatory pit stops. The drivers are allowed to pit if they wish to, or they can make it on fuel and tires. So just hang on, stay tuned, and we will get going racing here very shortly. And for you guys that are watching, I have my comment box up at the bottom right hand corner. I already see the TX3 Toe for Pro Jure and PPS Easy Pickens in there. Welcome, guys. Alright, so he will not make the race here tonight. So we're about to go green flag racing here at Watkins Glen. I am going to lock up my party. That way we don't get random visitors throughout the night. And so here we go. 25 laps at Watkins Glen about to go underway. Hopefully Forza doesn't give us any glitches as we begin our race here. Once again, this is an 18 driver field. The biggest field of the season. We have had only up to 16 drivers up to this point. We have to have 2 driver parties here tonight because of the parties being so big. So hopefully everything will go smoothly as we get. So here we go. The start of the race here in week number 8 of the MEA GT Championship Series about to go underway. And so here we go. Green flag is dropped and we are off as FTR Surrey starts out right off the bat. And I'm going to check to make sure all the drivers have made it in. And they did. All 18 drivers are underway. And lap number 1 here at Watkins Glen of the MEA GT Championship Series. FTR Surrey starting on the lead now. Right behind him, UMSGG Racing with the great start. But we got a car into the wall. And sitting in the back of the field, looks like SSR Sloth Reflex with a really bad start. Not sure. We'll check if he got any damage on the car. And the car looks good to go, so no damage on the number 3 machine of SSR Sloth Reflex. Now he has to make it back up to the back of the field, and with the 4GT, he's going to have to go a long way. Right now we're riding with SSR Bobbers as HDR Daytona and him getting a little loose going through the chicane. So right now there's about the top 6 cars. Not sure what happened to the second half of the field. So there must have been an accident. There's a huge pile up in the back of the field of cars. Not sure what happened. We got all types of cars. Lucas McMee's in there. We got SSR Monster. We got LCM Codependent, PBS Proud. All these guys caught up in the mix. Got all sorts of damage. He's going to have to make his way around the rest of the racetrack. Very unfortunate for some of those drivers. We already have a driver out of the race. One driver has DNF'd out of the race already, as we are currently still in lap number 1. We're right now running alongside with Pro Jor and PPS Lucky with the DNF early. PPS Lucky is now out of the race. So Soft Reflex, because of the early instance with some of the drivers, is now up to the 10th spot. So kind of a fortunate mistake for him. So we'll go up to the front of the pack now and see what's going on as UMSGG Racing with a great start right now, holding off for the second position with HDR Daytona right on the back bumper as he taps the outside wall there. The top 6 cars still hanging tight early on in this race. Right now, FTR Survey, your current race leader, getting away from the pack right now. And we got UMSGG Racing currently trying to hold off HDR Daytona, who's had a fast car all week long. Pretty much figured the battle would be between those 2 cars. But right now, GG trying to show that the Lambo can do just as well as these 4 GTs. And once again, all 17 cars besides Lucky still remains on the racetrack. So right now, GG Racing trying to bring out that new paint scheme this week. And he's about distancing himself from HDR Daytona. So we'll go back to check on the 4th and 5th place drivers between SSR Bobbers and LCM Buku. Right now battling for that 4th position. Buku goes to the inside. Bobbers out wide, side by side as they to the turn. Right behind them is Godly Drift. Godly Drift, not one of the strongest performances of him this week, but he's going to try to make his way up to the pack here at Watkins Glen as we are on lap number 2 of 25. So right now, Buku getting out of the hole, looking to chase down the race leaders. I see Purple Haze in the background. Purple Haze up to the 7th position. So right now, it looks like the top 7 cars currently up to the pack. If we bring up the race map, you see the guys currently in pit road. 2, 3 cars already entering pit road. It looks like we have another straggler in the back of the field. Now, it looks like Forza gave me a glitch, so I'm going to back out momentarily and bump back in and see maybe if Lucky is still in this race. SSR Nicole is also out of this race already. So right now, 2 drivers have DNF'd out of this race. So very unfortunate for them as we get back to the racing action here at Watkins Glen. SSR FNG 96, I believe, yep, he's up to the 8th position right now. So as he crosses line, FNG off to a pretty good start due to the circumstances on the track. So DJ Smokin' Hippie currently in the 15th position. Lucas McMee is up to 11th. Right now it's been nothing but a wreck fest up to this point. Now that the drivers are basically spreading out, the top 3 cars are now distancing themselves from the pack. HDR Daytona, we call it the Porsche, ladies and gentlemen, because it looks like a Porsche. He colored his car this week as a Porsche. And if you know anything about HDR Daytona, he normally drives the Porsche GT3 or the Porsche RSR. This week, he wanted to compete and be competitive, so now the known 4GT is known as the Port, or in his eyes, the Porsche. The fake Porsche, for that matter. Now battling for the 2nd position, HDR Daytona goes to the inside of Calamity GG Racing. And that Lambo with the speed off of exit already showing the speed. Gigi's going to have to do everything in his power here tonight to at least remain in the top 5 to be somewhere in the point standings right now, as he's really the only competitor for FTR Survey as the season dwindles down. So right now, Gigi Racing is going to have to do everything in his power to remain up front. So right now we'll remain on this battle, but there looks like there's a battle in the behind it between SSR Bobbers battling back to action between I'm sorry, that's LCM Codependent, a lap down car. Codependent with the early incidents, like many others so far here tonight. And HDR Daytona cuts the corner a little bit too much, taps Gigi. Gigi has to go way wide and he'll retain his second place position. So right now the battle for second is heating up between UMS GG Racing, which is now known as Calamity GG Racing, also known as CC GG Racing, switching race teams this past week, and SSR Monster looks like he's out of the race. Kind of going through some Forza glitches right now. Not sure the problems of Forza. Kind of been going through it all day. So right now we'll bring up the lap times of this race. So HDR Daytona now off the pace after a bad first turn. So right now, some inner drama amongst some drivers due to some early situations here on the racetrack. The HDR Daytona go back to the inside of GG Racing. And SSR Monster wants to get in here, so we're going to give him a chance to talk. And we're going to pull Monster in here momentarily. And for the time being, ladies and gentlemen, just hang in. GG going way wide there on turn, and I'm going to bring SSR Monster in. Monster, what's going on? I didn't have it on, so give me a minute. I'll put it on. There, it's on now. You can fix that up. So what seems to be going on out there? Early drama in the race, a bad race through the chicane. What happened?
Well, someone hit the tire wall right there, and everybody got connected. We were warned about the wreck. I thought everybody was clear. I kept on driving through and smacked right into someone. And then, I don't know if you've seen me, but I went and turned around on the track to go get Nicole. And I was almost to her and she ended up backing out. So I said, alright, well, that's my race.
And that's very unfortunate. You know, I hear that some people are really upset about that already. But you know, it is what it is. We can't just. It's the nature of the game, and you know, right now, it is what it is. So, and another car off the track. GG Racing off at turn number 1. GG Racing, something happened to him, and now he's back to the 6th position now. And Ray, a lot of cars here tonight. It just seems like some people just. A little bit of a struggle here.
Yeah, that's what it seems like. I don't know if it's just because we just have so many drivers in, and it's compact on the track, so people are trying to pass and just connecting or what, and then see what happened to GG.
Well, GG looks like he just got loose or something there. Right now, GG's going to have to battle back, but that moves LC and Buku up to the 3rd position. And PPS Lucky, one of those early cars out of the race, and very unfortunate for him as well. But PPS Proud still hanging on. He was also another victim, currently in the 15th position. So we started with about 18 drivers. Now we're down to 15, and it's been a wild one already.
Oh yeah, that first, well, I shouldn't say first turn. About the 3rd turn, it gets a lot of people. But it only takes one car to smack that tire wall, and there goes the race.
So as we're on lap number 8 now, FTR Survey, I would say, has a comfortable lead here. Kamikaze, and I bring up the race map, and he's quite a bit of ways ahead of HDR Daytona. Now Daytona does have the speed to match him, but to catch him is the question. And right now, Kamikaze, or I'm sorry, I always forget, we changed your name, the Monster. It just hasn't really been, you know, one of these weeks that people said the Ford GT can make it the whole way.
And the first guy, Survey, hit the wall.
And Survey with damage early in the race. Maybe? Did he get damaged, or did he just spin? He looks like his car's all right.
He looks like he just tapped it, slid him sideways a little bit.
And so Survey now under fire. So Survey now under fire. HDR Daytona looking to go after him.
Go in the back of the pack here. See how it's going back here.
And if you're just tuning in, this is week number 8 of the MEA GT Championship Series. We started out with 18 drivers, and now we're down to 15. A couple of the drivers that dropped out early, Lucky, GG Racing now is out of this race. Monster, Nicole.
Yeah, some of those big names, surprisingly ended up, wrecking and decided to end up backing out, even though it's still kind of early. That's all right though. This makes it very interesting.
Oh, and the news just came in. GG Racing, internet issues at home. That is why GG is now out of this race. Unfortunate for Calamity. GG Racing, feel for him. He had a really fast car this week, could have had a chance to win, but this has been the most drama-filled race so far, Monster. And I got so many names for you. Just gonna go with the flow here.
Now, how do you think is gonna be a big contender in this race? I'm thinking Roberts gonna be a big contender.
Right now, I'm watching HDR Daytona try to track down FTR Survey, but and hopefully next week GG's internet issues will fix themselves. You know, it's very unfortunate we lose GG, you know, a guy that's currently racing in the point standings, and this is going to hurt him deeply going into next week. You got to think, if you're GG, you're going to have to win 2 races in a row to possibly to possibly win the title. And right now, if Survey being up front, he's going to have to hope that Survey doesn't really have a good race at this point. But like you said, right now it's HDR Daytona who could possibly challenge Survey. The 3rd place car is LCM Buku. We cannot count out Buku. Buku, winner back at Hockenheim, looking to get his 2nd victory of the season after really it was a surprising victory last week.
Definitely. I will be right back. I have to step out of the booth.
So we'll hear back from you. And blow LCM Cody Pettit way wide in turn number 1. So right now we move up to SSR Bobbers, who's currently in battle mode with 4th place. Godly Drift. And right now, we're still riding with Bobbers and Godly Drift, who are currently battling it out. And if you're just tuning in, this is week number 8 of the GT Championship Series, where drama has been filling up this whole race so far, as about 5 or 6 drivers already out early in this race. Big accident through the chicane here at Watkins Glen. And right now, GG Racing, one of the top drivers in the point standing, also out of this race. PPS Lucky, SSR Nicole, and a couple of others. So right now, 14 cars still on the track. So after about 10 laps of this race, the top 5 is currently FTR Survey, HCR Daytona, LCM Buku, SSR Golly Drift, and SSR Bobbers, who those two are currently in battle mode right now for the 5th position. And with 2 weeks left to go in the MEA GT Championship Series, ladies and gentlemen, it's been nothing but thrills all season long, and we're going to see some great racing throughout the rest of this race and the final 2 races of the season, and it's been nothing but fun. But right now, the battle between SSR Golly Drift and SSR Bobbers, who we are currently riding along with, battling for that 4th position. FTR Survey, who's currently the race leader, trying to hold off HCR Daytona, as those two battle it out up front as well. And LCM Buku, who's trying to track them down. Up the race map, and you see where the top 2 drivers are. They're right there. We'll go check out the back. It looks like we might have a battle for the 6th position though. Purple Haze under fire. Sloth Reflex is now battling and challenging Purple Haze for the 6th position. Side by side, going down the straightaway into the chicane. What will we see here? Sloth goes to the outside! To the outside, picks up the pass. Oh, but he almost goes off the track. We got our Godly Drift is off the pace. It's getting good now. Godly Drift is now off the pace, and there's something wrong with Godly Drift, and I believe we can check him out as the battle for 5th now looks to be over, and it is Godly Drift with all types of body damage. The good thing is he can make his pit stop and make it the rest of the way right now, and that is what he's trying to do. So Godly Drift currently with all sorts of damage on his car. So Golly Drift will be making a pit stop here. We go further back. FNG and Pro Drawer, 8th and 9th, and DJ in 10th. We'll go back up to the front. And HCR Daytona putting the pressure on FTR Survey right now. And right right now the battle for the lead is on. HDR Daytona has yet to pick up a victory. He's only had one top 5 all season long. I believe that was back at Suzuka, and that was where 4GT also thrived, but he was in the Porsche GT3 and managed a top 5 finish then. Monster, you just tuning back in. We got a nice little battle up here for the race lead between FTR Serbia and HDR Daytona, and also missing out Godly Drift, wrecking somewhere along the lines, who went off the pace, giving up Bobbers to the 4th position. So right now Godly Drift, who was up front battling, has dropped back to the 10th position.
Oh no. That's too bad for Godly Drift. He seems like he was doing pretty well, and then he ended up having that wreck. Man. It seems to me though that Daytona and Serbia are having a decent battle.
And it's
been pretty close.
It's been a good battle since Serbia's mistake on about lap number 6 or 7. So right now, HDR Daytona putting the pressure on FTR Serbia. Serbia hasn't really had much pressure all season long. He's had Gigi, who's given him really good runs this season, battled him on and off early on. Now he's got HDR Daytona showing him up. And last week, LSCM Buku at Hockenheim, when Serbia ran out of fuel on the final turn, gave up the victory, well, was kind of forced to Buku, where Zombie ended up taking the 2nd position from him as well. So right now, could this be another week of an upset, because we all expect FTR Serbia to win here tonight with the fastest time, but we all know that HDR Daytona is very fast as well in that machine as well, and this is the car he doesn't normally drive, but we call it the Porsche because that's what he wants us to call it.
Going back to 8th place, F and G. Watching them go through the little chicane, see how they're doing. Everyone made it through, nice and clean. Seems like they have a little battle going on back here.
And where is that at again?
7th, 8th, and 9th. It's Pro Drawer, FNG, and DJ Smoking Hippie.
And FNG went down a position. So Pro Drawer has now taken over one position over SSR FNG, who's now under fire with DJ. And if you guys who are watching want us to get to any certain battles on the track, let us know. We'll get to them and check out your driver, your favorite driver, whoever you may want to watch.
As a matter of fact, I will actually start streaming right now. For those who want to spectate Mayhem or Monster, just let us know which driver that you want to see.
So right now, oh wow, DJ win the pit road right
Wow.
after FNG. That was a close one there.
Oh.
So right now, I went back up the HDR Daytona, FTR Serbia. The battle still continues. Daytona is all over Serbia right now, Monster. This is becoming intense. Did not see this coming. I don't know what to say right now. I mean, we knew Daytona was fast, but we didn't know if he could stay consistent enough in this race to be up there with FTR Serbia. We thought maybe GG would find some speed. Obviously having some internet problems at home tonight, which drops him out of this race early. But we're about to go on our 15th lap with 10 to go. And don't forget, SSR Bobberts can make it on fuel and tires as far as we are concerned. We will check up on him momentarily soon as these drivers make their pit stop. Again, in this series, there is no mandatory pit stops. All you have to do is make it to the end. You are allowed to pit, but if you can make it to the end, Monster, you're going to do everything in your power to make it to the end.
Oh yeah, definitely. I was actually in this race, and I was actually going to end up pitting on 5th lap, and then go from 5th all the way to finish. So I know right around 20 to 21 laps, seems like the car runs out of fuel on my end. Some drivers can make it all the way though.
And right now, I'm just watching Daytona, trying to stick with Serbia. This is fun to watch. pull up the race map, and they are getting close to lap traffic, or I should say traffic, because some of the drivers are lapped down.
And you know what? That's what makes this race so interesting. Is the lap traffic on this map. You know, you gotta fight your way through traffic, so it kind of slows really fast drivers down a little bit. Some drivers do pull over, but some drivers try to keep up with pace.
Well, right now, Daytona is really putting the pressure on Serby. He has been nothing but on him since about lap number 13. And with Serby's mistake, it's really cost him. We knew Daytona had a really fast car. We know Zombie had the second quickest time, but we all knew that Daytona could run consistent laps. And with the early mistakes in this race, Monster, it didn't look like there was going to be much of a chance for him to... And Serby makes a quick pit stop. It looked like a last-second decision. So HCR Daytona now the race leader.
Wow, that was close.
And SSR Bobbert staying out, so we're about to find out how this Nismo can hold up. 45% fuel, tires at about 50%. This is what Bobberts was hoping for. He knows the Fords have to pit. This is not really as surprising as some might believe, Monster, but we all know that Nismo can make it to distance.
Oh yeah, that Nismo, it definitely handles gas-wise and seems like tire-wise as well.
So Serby coming out of pit.
Definitely a game changer.
And Serby is now out of pit road. He's coming out in the 4th position now. He's gonna have to make up a lot of ground. You gotta find a way to get to Bobberts. Bobberts has been desperate for a win since he started in another series, which is the LSCM Cup, Monster. We all know how much it would mean for him to get a victory here tonight. He's been really trying hard to do it. So many disappointments. We saw back in week number 1 at Silverstone, Monster. He stayed out on the track, 1 lap to go. Tires gave up on him in the quarter of the race. He ended up finishing from 1st, I believe, 4th or 6th in that race. I want to say 6th, but I think he said 4th. I could be wrong. He did it again a couple weeks later. So right now, SSR Bobberts is just hoping that what he says is true, can hold out. HCR Daytona, though, says that he could take this Porsche distance as well. We'll pull up his statistics, but right now, they're not as promising. He's about 28% on fuel. The tires are not a big deal. The fuel margin is. That's where it's going to be cutting it close. I just don't see it. I just don't see this car making it the full distance.
No, I think he's definitely going to have to hit, because I really don't see his car making it distance either.
If you're just tuning in, this is week number 8 of the MEA GT Championship Series. I'm SSR Mayhem, and alongside me is SSR Monsters, bringing you tonight's action here at the Watkins Glen. FTR Surrey, the points leader, now in the 4th position. GG Racing, who was in the 2nd in the point standings, drops out early due to internet connection problems.
And it looks like Purple Haze just pitted. He's just now exiting the pits. Well, actually, he's getting ready to. Coming up on lap traffic.
Question is, can Daytona stay on the racetrack long enough to win this race? He said it all week long. I'm going to do everything in my power to get this car to distance.
It looks like we got a little bit of a battle going on between Purple Haze and SSR Godly Drift as they go through the little chicane.
So Purple Haze trying to battle with Godly Drift, who had an early incident, sent him into the pits earlier. 14 cars, though, still on the track. We started with 18, so only 4 drivers have dropped out to this point. Special names like PPS Lucky, UMS, or I should say CCGG Racing, SSR Monster, and SSR Nicole all dropped out early. Very unfortunate.
Alright, now I am back up to HDR Daytona. He has a 63% tire wear and 22% fuel. I do not think he's going to make it. Looks like he's burning about anywhere from 4 to 5% per lap. So, I say he's going to have to pit on 22nd or 23rd lap here.
So the number 22 machine of Godly's Drift trying to hold off Purple Haze. And they got I think they have a, oh they do, they have Sloth Reflex, SSR Sloth Reflex. The number 3 machine for SSR. Currently in the 6th position. He actually was in an earlier incident on lap number 1. And whoa, he cut way through the grass.
Wow.
Sure, he did not mean to do that. So right now, the SSR boys trying to get the first win for SSR in any MEA event. Once again, in any MEA event. FTR Survey has won this series 3 times this season. GG Racing 3 victories. LSCM Buku last week's winner. Could we have a new face this week? FTR Survey now getting over the line as he goes on to lap number 19. Survey has to find some speed in the car, and he needs to make it happen now if he wants to pull up a win here today. Survey getting a little loose off of turn number 1. SSR Bobberts in the 2nd position with the Nismo GTR, the only Nismo GTR in the field, Monster.
And Daytona kind of bumped the wall a little bit, went off and bumped the wall. Wonder if those tires are finally getting to him.
Well, he's going to have to make a decision here soon. You got to think, if you stay out to about lap 22, do you take the risk of running the distance if fuel is doable? And SSR Bobberts in the GTR right now. He said this car is going to change this week's race. Everyone, for about 85% of the field, took the Ford GT. There's only been a few other cars, 2 Lambos, that are both out of this race. We also, I believe there's another car in this field. I can't remember. I'd have to look at the. There was some C7Rs, but. Oh, Cody Pennant's in the Viper. He's in the Dodge Viper. So those are really the only cars.
Yeah, Cody. Yeah, Cody in the Dodge Viper. Woody is in the C7R. I forget who's in the Porsche RSR. Might be Lucas.
No, that's actually Pro Jor. Pro Jor is in the RSR. Oh. But it just shows you the diversity of this field. This week, it's just heavily Ford GTs, Monster. We haven't seen a week yet where one car was so heavily favored at a track.
Oh no.
And I gotta look here. We got SSR Woody, who's in the C7R. Did not qualify. Had to start at the rear of the field. He's in one of his famous Jegs paint schemes. Hasn't been around for a couple weeks. And we'll even go check on our friend PPS Proud, who's back in action here tonight. Who's currently in front of Pro Jor, who's in the RSR.
Now, do you know if SSR Woody ended up hitting or not yet?
Not positive. He was early. He was in some earlier incidents. Okay. I think he was just being held up through the field. But I do believe the C7R can make it on fuel the whole way. So if the tires hold up, he'll be fine.
Okay.
And for you guys that are
Yeah, I was just curious
watching
about
on
that.
Mixer, don't be afraid to message us. Don't be afraid to talk down below. Wizard Pumpkin, we see you down there. We see what you're saying. TX3 Topher, we know you're there. We got quite a nice crowd here tonight watching this race. Glad to have you guys. It's always nice to have you guys aboard with us. We enjoy every bit of it. We're glad you're fans of the series. And just to let you all know, because we got a good portion of you, there will be a season 2 this year. Season 1 was in the summer. Season 2 will be around fall, winterish time. So look forward to season number 2 as that comes out down eventually in the next couple of months. And right now, we're watching HDR Daytona. Almost, it looked like he almost connected with FNG there. Now, he is on 9% fuel.
Actually, FNG almost hit that tire wall, and he came really close to that tire wall. I thought he was actually going to hit it. And then HDR Daytona got pretty close to him as FNG backed off.
Now we know TX3 Topher is a painter, and I gotta ask you, Topher, down there, because I know you're with us. What do you think about this Porsche livery on this Ford GT by HDR Daytona? I mean, he calls it a Porsche. He doesn't want us calling it a Ford. He said he'd kill me if I called it a Ford, but we call it a Pord. He put all the effort into this. We'll find out if he stays out on the track.
Looks like he's going to...
He's making a pit stop. He knows he can't make it, so this gives SSR Bobbers his chance. Bobbers is down to 24% fuel. Bobbers will take the lead, going to lap number 22. Can Bobbers make it the distance? And bring up the race
map.
Trying
to see what the lap times are.
FTR Serby is on his way. LCM Buku silently in the 4th position. And here's a story for you. If Projor can make it on fuel. And he's in the 5th position. This is the biggest story of the night. Projor currently in the 5th position. SSR Sloth Reflex is chasing him down right now. This would be a really big story if Projor could pick up the top 5 here today, Monster.
Oh yes, definitely. Looks like Projor though has 85% left in the front tire, 82 on the right. Got about 3 laps to go. I don't know if his tires are gonna hold out. I don't know. Hopefully they can. With that 21% fuel, hoping the best for him.
And Projor, nice guy, loves to be in the series. Well, hopefully we'll see if he can pull it off here. It's gonna cut it close. Glad to have you aboard, Pumpkin. Glad to have you aboard. Glad you love the race. Hopefully you hang around. We got 2 weeks left in this series. Every Friday night, this time, 9 p.m. U.S. Eastern Time. So anyways, back to the action as we enter lap number 23, SSR Bobbers. Monster, what do you think this victory for SSR Bobbers means to him if he can pull it off here tonight?
You know, I think if he can pull it off tonight, it's going to be a big win for him. I think he's going to be really excited about it. You know, like I said earlier, I think he was a big contender due to being in that Nismo. And I'm hoping that he can win it.
And right now it's looking really promising. You know, we were talking about a little bit earlier, actually, so I was, he's been trying really hard to pick up a victory. He's come so close so many times, upsetting endings, frustration moments. You know, we go back to about the first few weeks, he had that big, you know, we don't like to remember it, but he had that huge outburst after the race in their interviews, and just really upset about his car. Thought he had a chance to win that race, and he had a couple of tire wear issues in 2 different races where he sat on the track. So if he can manage the rest of this race, it's going to be a big win for him. And not only him, but for SSR. And SSR trying to get their first crack with a win here in this series, it would mean a lot to Boberts, and I know he's been talking about how he wants to get one for the team. Even though this is a individual series, he just like to get SSR's name on the top of the board, and he talks about it all the time, so it's going to be a big win if he can pull this off. And right now he has 17% fuel. He is cutting it close, Monster. I think he'll be okay. He's got Lucas McMeans in front of him. Not sure if Lucas McMeans is going to make him work too hard. We pull up the race map. We'll see where Servy's at. Servy is about 2.5 turns, almost 3 turns behind right now. Daytona, because he stayed out for so long, lost quite a bit of ground with Servy. So this is Boberts' race to win. He's got 1 lap to go. SSR Boberts, the number 8 machine, Nismo GTR, looking to pick up his first win of the season. All he has to do is go around for another lap and a half, and he will be he will get his first victory, not only at an MEA event, but also all events that MEA hosts or covers. He's also a driver in the LSCM Cup, and right now, this is his race to win. Only he can mess it up for himself. We pull up his damage info again. He's about 75% tire wear up to the front. He should be good. He has 1% engine damage, Monster. How about that statistic? He has some engine damage in the car.
Wow. Holy cow. Yeah, that is actually crazy. He must have pumped the rev limiter, you know, once to get that damage. That is actually pretty hard to get.
And FTR Servy it's just not getting enough time, and he's right behind Cody Pennant, a lap down car. FTR Servy trying to gain the ground, but it's just not going to have enough time unless Boberts makes a mistake.
Oh no. Oh, I thought they were going to try to go too wide through the little chicane. Watching 5th and 6th back here as they battle for 5th. It's Sloth Reflex and Godly Drift.
And we'll go back and take it out. And Boberts stays on the track. Boberts does not take his pit. He goes out. One final lap. White flag in the air. All he has to do is make it around one more time. Right now we're on the battle for 5th place between SSR Sloth Reflex and SSR Godly Drift. Sloth Reflex hasn't podiumed since Road America back at week number 3. You remember that, Monster. He led a majority of the race, had to pit with 2 laps to go, did not have enough fuel in the tank to finish out. This is big for him. And right now, almost side by side as they exit the turn, the final few turns for the final lap. Stay on this battle, Monster. I'm going to go up to the race leader now. FTR Servy finally around Cody Pennant. And Boberts, with only about 5 turns left.
Oh, and they both smacked the wall. Sloth and Godly. This is going to be an epic battle.
He comes around the hairpin. SSR Boberts, picking the car that mattered the most this week, didn't go with the rest of the field. He's giving himself a little bit of some love out there, letting us know this is the one. And I'm sure as soon as he gets in here, he's going to tell us how happy he is, how it's exciting. This is really big news for the SSR driver. This one's going to mean a lot to him. His first ever win in any event between the LSCM Cup and the MEA GT Championship Series. And I know in the MEA GT Championship Series, he is thrilled. SSR coming around the final turn. And here he comes to the line. He battled all season long. SSR Boberts with the win at Watkins Glen. FTR Servy finishing in the 2nd position. He comes around the final turn. Servy will finish 2nd. Another podium finish for Servy this season. In the 3rd position, HCR Daytona finishing strong. 4th, LSCM Buku. Buku, who's very quiet throughout this race, Monster, will finish in the 4th position. And finishing 5th, it looks like Sloth can hold off Godly. Godly trying to give him everything he's got. It's not over yet. Godly has 2 turns to hold, or I should say pass Sloth. Sloth just got to maintain him. And here they come around the final turn. Godley's not going to have enough. SSR Sloth Reflex will take the 5th position here at Watkins Glen. 6th will be Godley Drift. 7th will be Purple Haze, it looks like. Purple Haze takes the 7th position back from his first week in many weeks. Right now defending the 8th position. SSR Woody trying to hold off DJ Smokin' Hippie. C7R versus 40.
As they go side by side.
And just stay tuned, ladies and gentlemen. We'll have interviews at the end of this race with the top 5 drivers. SSR Woody trying to hold him up. DJ goes to the outside. Woody cuts up to the front. He's not going to get him. Woody will hold off for the 8th position. 9th will be DJ. 10th will be Pro Jor. And the rest of the field. We're going to pull in the drivers, get some race interviews here. Monster, make sure you stay in the lobby so I don't lose any of the positions. I can mark it down stuff for you for later for the stuff. All right, while we get that in, we're gonna pull the drivers in. And what a race, Monster! That was a lot of fun, a lot of drama. I mean, that was something. And while we get the top 5 drivers in here to talk to them, what a race it was! A lot of drama early on, a lot of battles throughout the race. Nothing but fun. Hopefully I get all the drivers in. I might have accidentally said Survey 2 of them. I might have not. I don't know. So while we wait for the drivers to come in, we'll get Sloth, Bobberts, Buku, Herbie in here. So once we get them all in here,
get the final race results.
And we'll get Survey and HCR Daytona, trying to get Daytona in here as well. So here we go. And for you guys that are just now getting in here, make sure that your audio is on. And I'm going to start with Sloth. Sloth Reflex picking up the 5th place spot. And once again, I know I've said it enough times, but make sure you guys' audio is on. Click on the party, click on the check mark box so these guys can hear. But Sloth, what a race for you. You started off the race in a really rough spot, went off the track wide. It looked like you were really far behind. A big incident in the chicane happened. About 4 drivers ended up dropping out within the next few laps. You found your way about mid-pack throughout the race. Not a whole lot happened for you. You started battling with a few different people, and at the end of the race, you had to hold off Godly Drift for the 5th position. And that you got to be really happy finishing 5th the way this race started.
Yeah, I don't know. Someone got on the apron and I think they shifted, which is exactly what happened to me last week with Daytona. So they like flew up into me. But yeah, I mean, I just kind of did laps like always since no one seems to ever be around me. But the end was fun. Blocking Drift, but I think he was out of tires too.
Well, Godly Drift, who was actually one of the contenders up front early in the race, actually got into an accident, which made him pit a little bit earlier than he wanted to. He's actually, believe he was battling with Bobberts, and something happened to him. So, unfortunate for him, but you guys made a really nice battle there at the end. So, congratulations on top 5. We haven't seen you since about, believe it was Road America in your last top 5.
Yep. Thank you.
Well, congratulations, Sloth, on a 5th place finish, and hopefully the momentum carries with you next week. And believe 4th, I'm sorry if I forget here, Buku, which it is Buku. Buku, it actually, it's good it actually makes sense. Buku, your race was really quiet today. You weren't really racing anybody, it seemed. It seemed like you're pretty much by yourself most of the race. Just take us through your race. Pretty much quiet, pretty much nice and steady. Did you feel like you had a better car than where you finished today?
Not really. I think where I started is about where I should have finished, and that's about right. But I mean, I ran as well as I could have, and I couldn't catch any of those front guys. That was all I had, so I think I did pretty well. Well,
last week you picked up the victory at Hockenheim. That was a really exciting victory for you. You know, you were talking about throughout the week how, you know, it was nice to get a victory, especially when you joined the series midway through, and you've been really competitive since you joined the series. So 2 weeks ago, you think you got another win underneath you?
Maybe. I know these tracks coming up aren't really my strong suit, but we'll see.
Well, congratulations to you on a top 5 once again, and we'll see you next week. HDR Daytona in the Porsche, fake Porsche, which we like to call the Pord. Daytona, you gave Servi all he had early on, throughout the race. When you finally got up to him, he made a mistake, I believe through the chicane somewhere. Then you were pretty much on him for a good portion of the race. You tried to stay out. It looked like your strategy was to try to make it on fuel. Just, you know, was that what you were planning to do, and hopefully try to get the win that way?
My strategy was to just go as far as I can. I knew I did some math. I knew this car wasn't going to make it no matter what I did, so I just tried to go as fast as possible and as far as possible. And yeah, that fight with Servi was a fun battle to say the least. And I wasn't expecting the Porsche to get its first podium at Watkins Glen.
Well, regardless, you and Servi looked like you had a lot of fun there. You had some chances to take cracks at him before you ended up making a pit. You stayed out a little bit longer, kind of showed when you came out. Servi had a little bit more of a gap on you, but nonetheless, we haven't seen you in the top 5 since I believe back at Suzuka when you took 5th place. So it's probably nice to be back in the top 5 once again. It's nice to see you here. So congratulations on a really good race, and we'll see you next week.
Will do.
The second place finisher, FTR Servi, and Servi. We all knew that the Nismo could make it on fuel, you know, that was guaranteed, but some of us thought that you and a couple of the other guys who started up front in qualifying had a chance to really distance the gap. Early in the race, you know, there was a big wreck in the chicane, actually a huge wreck. About the top 6 cars got away from the pack, and it looked like you were starting to distance yourself through the race. What happened back at the chicane? Because actually we didn't see it, or at least I didn't get to see it. I think Monster brought it up to me when he came in. Did you just get loose through the chicane, or what happened through there?
I just kept getting bad runs, little tiny sim twitches that I've had to slow down to not spin. Gee, my voice is just fucked today. Yeah, I just kept taking it a bit too. I was trying to go real fast through it, and it hit that bump, it hit the curb, and then it unsettled the car. I got a sim twitch, and that happened like 3 laps in a row, which is why he caught up. And then when he was up to me, I was pressured, and I'm making more mistakes and braking late, and you know, not taking good lines. So it was a good battle, and it was nice having someone up there battling me, because you know, after GG left and to GG, you know, man, I'm sorry that happened, but you know, you're fucked.
We're
But anyway,
live, so be careful what you say. I'll need kicked off mixer. But yeah, you know, that was a lot of fun watching you and Daytona go at it. Did you ever feel like at one point he might have got you underneath a little bit? Because it seemed like there was a couple of moments in that race where he was right on the back bumper of you. It just
he had the fire, man. He was on fire those laps. He was behind me, so I was actually thinking about letting him by and just carrying on his momentum, just staying behind him and seeing if we could get some extra distance. I knew basically that there was no chance I was beating Bobberts. I know on this track you need to have like 6,000 feet ahead of someone to stay ahead of him, and that wasn't going to happen unless if he had a big mistake. So good job on Bobberts for driving a very consistent race, and finally his pit strategy, as in no pits, worked out for him.
You know, we talked about that, but Servi, it's been a pretty good run, and as of right now, you pretty much have the title wrapped up 2 weeks ago. Just gotta keep on driving well, and just consistent races to finish in the top 5, and you pretty much sealed the deal with GG's unfortunate dropout here tonight.
What happened? Wait, before I didn't even see what happened. Did GG just lag out, or did he get wrecked?
The report from GG was that his internet was really laggy. He was lagging all over the track, so he got out so he didn't ruin anybody else's race. He was really upset. He told us down in the comment box, but
yeah,
you know, that happens.
For him.
So it's been a rough season for
GG.
GG.
I wanted to see what, because GG seemed to have paced that race too. He was keeping up the first couple laps.
Oh yes, it was.
Was he streaming?
I think he was stream. I think he was doing his Twitch
Alright, yeah,
streams.
so note to GG Net from now on, don't stream.
But you know that does affect a lot of things. You know, it adds to the internet problems. But regardless, Servi, it's been a fun year so far. You think you got a couple more victories underneath you?
Jeez, I don't know. I don't think I could go with this no pit strategy. I mean, as long as Roberts can make that work, I think he's got a good chance these last 2 races. I'm going to try my best, though.
Well, congratulations on you on a solid night, and we'll see you next week. So, man of the hour, SSR Bobberts picking up his first victory of the season. And Bobberts, the first question I got to ask you, it's got to feel good, isn't it?
You don't know how relieved I am. After the countless number of weeks in LCM, finishing runner-up or messing up, and then obviously finishing very well, but obviously behind some really, really top quality drivers, obviously like the people that finished in the top 5 here tonight, as well as many of the people. You know, finally the no pit stop works. I thought I was robbed in Spa, but this is redemption.
And you know, we look at that. We go back to Spa where you had to pit. GG and Wolfpack stayed out. You had the car to win that night. Unfortunately, it just wasn't meant to be. We go back to week number 1 at Silverstone. You stayed out on the track. No pit strategy like Servi was talking about. Tires gave up a quarter of the way. Then we go to Mugello. Same situation, but it wasn't a quarter of the race. It was turn 1, and it was a done deal there. So this is definitely, well, at least from talking to you for the weeks that I've known you, it's definitely going to feel good for you. And it looked like on that last lap there, you were kind of just coasting around there. If it's just taking in the moment a little bit, finally getting that chip off your shoulder a bit. But I got to ask you, you were one of the first 2 cars that missed that big accident through the chicane. Were you close to being in the middle of that at all?
No, it was nowhere near me. To be honest, the front 6 of us were, I think, far enough ahead from after what happened behind us. So, I mean, I know Daytona got a pretty slow pedestrian start, to say the least. But I think this the front 6, we were clear, and then obviously I saw somebody get spun right into the tyre wall, and then there was the gap that was from there behind. I mean, I don't know how Nicole got caught up with something, because she was actually part of the top 6 before she got wrecked. But or whatever happened. But no, we were fine. Nowhere near it. Didn't bother us at all. To be honest, I was actually just letting. Obviously, I let Buku through because I didn't want to ruin his race, and I was defending from Godly Drift, which was a good battle until he eventually got past, and then it just did my own thing.
Well, regardless, congratulations on the first win. You finally got that chip off your shoulders. 2 weeks left in the MEA GT Championship Series. You know, you're gonna try to continue this no pit strategy.
I'm not giving anything away, but obviously practice will come, and we'll see how that goes. But you know, if it's gonna help get a win again, then obviously I'll try it. But when you've got people like, you know, Servi, who you may as well say is going to be the champion of this, unless he DCs or somehow manages to finish 14th or something, then, which I don't think is going to happen. You know, he's a worthy champion. So, and you've got to beat the champ to have a chance.
Well, regardless of what happens throughout the rest of the season, congratulations on your first win, Bobberts, and enjoy it as we see you next week, and hopefully you can carry that momentum at Laguna Seca.
Do my best.
And for the rest of you that are watching, and a lot of you were watching tonight, thanks for being a part of this. As always, it's fun to have you guys that enjoyed the series and like to watch these guys race. Tune in next week, same time, same place, as they go to Laguna Seca. 2 weeks left in the MEA GT Championship Series as Servi continues to get away in the point standings from Gigi after another disappointing week for him. I'm SSR Mayhem, and I'd like to thank my colleague SSR Monster, who ended up coming in and helping me broadcast, as we all wish you a farewell and good night. Thank you.